Yes, indeed. It is time for Murder Moose. Hey, welcome. Episode 104, Rod. It's 104. Yes. We're here.
104.
I love that we have guests all the time. What the fuck is going on? I love it. Yay. Katie Peters.
How's
it going?
I'm here. Brought KP back.
I'm back.
And we were like, want to do something 80s and super practical effects. And Katie, as we all know, has her list of things she's never seen because has enough that Katie hasn't seen that. So I was like, let's do The Fly because Katie's never seen it. And
he was like, let's bring on our shark expert and talk about a Fly movie instead.
I'm like an animal expert in movies, apparently. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, it's weird not talking about a shark movie today.
Yeah, it really is.
The problem is the shark movies are, after Jaws, you're very hit or miss. It is like, you're like,
and it's so weird the timing of you actually coming onto the show because a new shark movie just came out as well. Like it literally just came out this weekend or something, and it doesn't look half bad, but I think putting it on the scale of shark movies, it might be on the top, closer to the top tier. I don't know. Maybe next time, eh?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like which one came out? What was the name of it? I remember watching the trailer for it.
All I know is that
Bait.
Alicia,
what was it called? I don't remember.
We did that one with Alicia Silverstone, which I
could not remember the name of.
Well, yeah, it was going to be way better.
I thought it was going to be way better too, but then
we figured out it was shot on a weird green screen and had some really, really bad.
They went to Shutterstock for the footage of the sharks too. That one's perfect, but that's not even the same time of day or water or no.
Yeah.
No. There's one called Maneater that just came out.
She's a man-eater.
Is that a Nelly Furtado song?
No, it's the old song "Man-Eater." She's a man-eater, and of course, I can't sing, so it's not like
I don't know the rest of. That's all I know, though.
I don't know. I'm gonna Google it as we talk about it. But
there's a Hall & Oates song.
I mean,
did we just age ourselves or something?
It's Daryl Hall and John Oates, "Man-Eater."
1982.
Hall & Oates, yeah.
I wasn't alive yet.
I mean, I wasn't either. So
Neither
I was born in 83.
So we didn't age ourselves. We just
85.
know things.
Oh, wait. We just legitimately aged ourselves.
There we go.
Shit.
We did it. We fucked up. But it is wonderful to have Kate back. But we are Murder Moose, part of the Slash and Cast podcast network.
It's in the game.
It's in the game, as Josh says. We are here with our favorite shark expert, Katie Peters. Katie, you've been a very busy lady. You went across the world. You had adventures.
Mm-hmm.
You got the old Rona. And
the old Rona.
No.
It was awful. I'm still getting over it, so I feel like my radio voice is even more of a radio voice. It's just huskier than normal.
Yeah.
No, you said.
I don't recommend getting COVID. I really can't say it's a 0 out of 10. I tried so hard to avoid it for 2.5 years. I went on one trip and I got it. And so been a little depressed about the fact that I actually got it, but I'm over the hump, I think.
Yeah. Dude, what was it? I saw that the Pfizer president or someone got COVID 3 times in 90 days or something.
I believe it. You can get this over and over again, apparently. And I am not excited about that.
No. It's the I guess we're just staying in our house and never leaving again, if at all possible. And I mean, at least you I got it at the very beginning and was sitting in a bathtub trying to keep my body temperature down because it was before vaccines, and it was trying not to cook and trying to naked in freezing cold water, which is not a pleasant experience.
I guess you just said you work from home too, but you left and you traveled.
I left my home.
And that's there's the bubble. It's no COVID. It's hey, let's go try COVID.
I know.
I feel the same way. I'm not working from home and I'm
Yeah.
Just get away from me.
I tried to dodge it. I went with my sister and Nana. They didn't get it. So I'm like, am I just the lucky one who was chosen? But I mean, I was wearing a mask. I was washing my hands. I wasn't touching my eyes. I was like, I don't know. I just think I breathed air around other people. And
how could you breathe air, Katie? How could you do it?
It was not, well, I mean, I'm like, no one's wearing masks. So I was wearing a mask, but I don't know how much that would have helped. So
yeah.
Your dogs are having a blast. Go! Wait, what is he saying?
He's trying to deal with it.
Well, just
He's
wait.
having words with
watch.
the dogs.
Oh no, there's a poster in the way. Damn it! Let's move it. Let's move the poster. Oh, okay. Well, we're back over here. Hey.
Yeah. Hello.
Well, how have you been other than Corona?
I've been all right. I've been sad that summer's over, but excited it's fall because now Halloween spooky season is here, and that's my favorite time of year. So I'm really excited for spooky stuff.
I went out and like bought new. I bought new like fall colored like crew neck sweaters for the first time, and I'm like, I'm of like any fall season, which I'm like, I go all out for like the haunt in front of my house and stuff, but like I don't normally change what I wear, but I think now that I'm like working out of the house, it's like, it's fall.
It's fun. It's kind of, I haven't gone shopping in honestly 3 years because I didn't have any reason to. I'm not a big shopper. I don't like shopping all that much, but I bought some stuff for the trip and I was like, man, shopping is exhausting. But then it's nice when you have some new things that you can wear.
Like an orange sweater and a red sweater and a yellow sweater.
and a reddy green sweater, so you could be
no, just the fall colors. Just the fall colors.
Autumnal. That's a word, right?
It's a word. I don't know if it's a real word.
I think it is. It's like okay, now I'm scared that I'm lying to you.
I say things that aren't words on this shit show all the time, Katie. So it's yeah.
It's a word.
Okay.
It says of characteristics of or occurring in autumn.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's what you meant.
Yes.
So that
totally a real word.
It meant pumpkin spice lattes is what it meant. Really.
I don't like pumpkin spice lattes.
I drink
my coffee black, so like that just has too much other weirdness. It's like, give me an Americano and don't put anything in it, and that's how like straight black coffee I like.
If my coffee is anything besides black, my wife is involved and has brought it to me from Starbucks or somewhere else. Like she bought enough pumpkin spice lattes last year that she was like on like Starbucks list where they gave her a gift card for buying enough pumpkin spice.
That's amazing.
Please come back.
Like, they're like, please come back and buy more pumpkin spice lattes next fall. I think I'll have one a year maybe. And I'm like, okay, now I remember why I don't get these. They're just too sweet for me, but they're like a treat.
See, I like, because my birthday is coming up on the 11th of October, and I always do.
Happy early birthday.
Hey, thanks. I always do pumpkin. Well, because Canadian Thanksgiving, like last year, landed directly on my birthday. This year, it's like the day before. I always get like a big turkey dinner for my birthday and like pumpkin pie. And I don't like cake because icing's too sweet. So I'm like,
I love
just
cake,
give me pumpkin pie. That's my cake. That's like, come on, that's what I want for my birthday. So they just put candles in a pumpkin pie now, and I love it.
That's amazing. I don't like frosting either. I like cake, but there can't.
Yeah,
Why do people put so much icing on everything?
Like if it was a cupcake with no icing, I'd be like, it's like a muffin, but a sweet muffin. Yeah, I'd be so into that.
My favorite donut at Dunkin' Donuts is a vanilla cream donut, which they basically just stick like vanilla frosting in the middle of it. And I'm like, yes, this makes me happy because I love all donuts. Don't get me wrong, but if you put like something in the middle that's dope, I'm the happiest little boy in the world.
So if you put dope in the middle of a donut, whoa, that would be like he would be in heaven.
I don't know. That's why the Voodoo Donuts giant dick donut is the best donut of all time. But
is it? cream filled?
Yes, it is. It's a giant Boston cream filled donut.
I've been to Voodoo Donuts. I remember getting like the cereal ones. I don't remember that donut though for some reason.
I don't know if they actually make them anymore. Like when they first came to Denver, I bought one, or my wife bought one and was like taking pictures eating it because it was funny. But like, yeah, it's.
Is it like a Long John, but then they put balls on it or something?
Yep.
Okay,
yep,
basically. Makes sense.
And then there's cream in the balls also. And
oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, their donuts.
See, I'm in Canada. Like we don't have. Like there's a lot more coming, but because coming. Hey, there.
Oh, ayo.
Hey, but not like American franchises. Like because in Calgary we have a ton of just like mom and pop like own burger places, and like we have so many like local breweries, and they're all in like one area. There's just like hundreds of them. I don't understand, but it's like that's what our town is. It's like all local.
If you're a stoner city, the Voodoo Donuts will move to your city. Like they started up in Seattle, and then they like came to Denver, and they're like
they should we found be in one Calgary then.
In LA.
Like
so.
Pot got like legalized in Canada because of the program that was in Calgary first with like the medical cannabis and stuff. So like it did so well in Calgary and in Alberta that it was what we have the most pot shops per capita in Canada here just because they were just giving them out. Like you look down the street and there's like 3, and then you look down that street and there's 3. And I'm like, what? Why? What?
It's still not legal where I live.
I hear like that, like in Oklahoma, which you would friend Vissy, who came to visit in August, was telling us that like they have more pot stores than like any other state, and it's like Oklahoma. What? It's always weird when you like these red states are like going out and like
they make tons of money. I guess there's a lot to tax on it too. Yeah. Like it's like that episode of South Park where they're like making all the KFCs into just pot shops or something.
The medicinal fried weed or whatever it is, because it's in the South Park game also, so it goes along. So okay, so Katie, you're back. Shut up! That didn't sound like a robot. I was gonna say, what else has been going on? I know you and Rob killed it with your Orville podcast, and now I need to go back and listen to some of those because obviously I was like getting into Orville because of everything after you, and I fucking love that show. But what else has been going on? I mean, you streaming and working your butt off, traveling around the world. Are we missing anything?
I don't know. Probably.
Probably.
I've been podcasting. I mean, Katie hasn't seen that. We did Quantum Drive, and we're still working on that. But that was a wild ride. I'm so happy you watched the show and liked it. Like that made me so happy.
I cried, dude. That show made me cry.
I cried too multiple times this last season. So I'm hoping they get renewed and keep my fingers crossed.
I wonder about the numbers because like they must believe in it enough that they put it on the Disney Plus app. Like it's there and on Hulu, and it's like, well, in a time where like shit's moving around, like they just took Brooklyn Nine-Nine off of Hulu, which made me sad because that's one of my favorite shows to like put on at night when I'm going to bed and shit.
It's on Plex.
Is it? Yeah, but it's just, things are moving around. I mean,
That's
see like
why I love having my own server. It's like, it's not going anywhere. These are the shows that I like as well. Like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is one of those that's never going to go away in my love for it. And it's not going to go anywhere. So like to have the ability to just host and do it myself, like there's something to it, right? Like, cause that it's devastating. Like when it's your show and it's like part of your routine or like it's your comfort blanket show or something like, and then all of a sudden it's just like, oh, like that's why I have like a huge collection of physical media still too. Cause it's like, it gives me the ideas of what I want to, but it's also, I'm very weirdly nostalgic when it comes to things that have just been done really, really well as well. So I don't know. There's something about it.
I'm holding on to DVDs of shows that I love. Like I have the whole show set because then I'm also like, my brain does this thing. I'm like, if there's an apocalypse, I still have power. I can still watch my DVDs.
I've come to the conclusion. If there's an apocalypse, I'm just going to go take me out now. I don't want, I don't think living. Okay. This is how I look at it. Living in 2022 is enough hassle that I'm like, with every modern convenience, with the internet, with grocery stores, I'm not going out and hunting other people or joining a gang and having to like put like spikes in my face or something like that, or like go and fight in the Thunderdome. I'm good. I'm going to go out and jump in front of a semi truck and just like take myself out early in the equation so I don't have to like worry about this.
Become friends with someone who does that stuff and then you're good to go.
I went to Europe and I saw a lot of old stuff. We went to the Colosseum, which was really cool.
Oh, yeah.
But a lot of people died there. Made me think and appreciate. I'm glad we don't live back then because it was an astonishing number of people who died.
Yeah. You're just like, man, this is cool. Holy shit, I'm glad it is 2022 right now.
Yeah, like just living in the olden times. But they used to just watch people for fun kill each other. Like,
I mean, we're not exactly moved away from brutality. The number one sport in America is football, and people are like giving each other brain damage and shit like that. So it's like, it's not exactly, but they're trying to make it better. But yeah, it's a weird world we live in, man. It's
our brutality's evolved.
Yeah. I mean, UFC and shit, like it has like boxing's not as big and UFC still happens. So, I mean, we still have combat sports. It's just like, they're not usually, people usually aren't dying anymore, but he also lived to like 35 back then too. So it was like,
there's like, boxing. It's just YouTube events now.
Or Showtime.
Yeah.
Well, no, because like even the Showtime events don't do as well as the YouTube ones do now. Like the Logan Paul, KSI, and like because they already have a massive audience that will follow them to pay-per-view events and to online service. Like they're making those title cards and trying to bring boxing to like this new generation, this new like audience, but it's working so well that now big title fights are relying on the success of these YouTube events to like make them more legitimate, even though they're the top of the game, and the rest of it's like essentially a written like WWF or WE wrestling. Man, I just aged myself huge there too.
Oh yeah, brother.
David Arquette, didn't he do like UFC for a while? He kind of got like
no, he didn't do UFC. He did
WCW.
He did WCW, and then when he came back in the late teens, he was in
like Stampede Wrestling.
It was like GCW wrestling. They did a whole documentary about him, and then like it was
really well done actually.
Yeah.
The
guy who almost killed him was crazy.
He got the belt given to him, like he
promoting
won
Ready to
the
Rumble.
Belt,
and
like legitimately won the WCW like heavyweight championship belt, and you never do that for like someone that hasn't earned it, because then the whole audience, because he legitimately loves wrestling and takes it very seriously, and when they did that and wrote that in, everyone hated him, and his legitimacy like went completely out, and he needed to like get that fanfare and like the respect back. So this documentary was trying to get that, as well as like, I don't know. It was, I suggest watching it. It's pretty good.
I watched the Dark Side of the Ring about the guy that he was in that match with. It was a guy named Nick Gage, who legitimately died for 7 minutes wrestling because he was in a death match and he had a light tube cut under his armpit and he bled out, and like they had to go out with him for like, he was dead for 7 minutes.
Yikes!
And
it
he has a
David
crazy
Arquette too, though. Like,
that was the guy who who did that to his neck and everything like that,
squirting out, and he's just like, and then like grabs a towel and goes to the emergency room.
Okay, well now I just feel like bringing up the Coliseum. This is like essentially the same thing. So maybe we haven't evolved.
Yeah, exactly. It's more scripted, but the shit happened. We still love blood as fucking
like Mankind was the wrestler I grew up with that was always into the hardcore matches, and like he also was the sock guy as well. And
I watched a bunch of it like back as a kid, and I watched Nick Gage stuff after that, like the last couple of years, and a lot of it's just like like he cuts people with pizza cutters, like that's his thing. He travels around with a pizza cutter and then like
I just love
slices up. Yeah, he slices open people's faces with a pizza cutter. It's
there,
all
I'll move
bonkers.
this back over to your staircase. Whoop.
Okay.
I wanted to see the dogs situation, what was going on, so I moved the poster.
The dogs come up and
all
down.
All we could
and
see
up
was
and down.
your feet.
Yeah.
And the craziness going on. So
yeah. Chaos. Yes. Yeah, Rome. You seem to like Rome like I did, Katie. Like Rome was my favorite place in the world I've ever been to, and it was like I said it to you on Twitter, but I was like, Rome kind of made me feel like I believed in reincarnation. Like I'd been there before, which was the weirdest feeling in the world. Like it was very strange, and especially as a 17-year-old, like when I was there. But like Rome was my favorite city, like that I was to after seeing a lot of really cool shit. But yeah.
Yeah. You drive around, you like turn and there's a modern building, and then you look the other direction. There's like old ruins and it's just kind of neat because it's so different than what we have here in North America. So getting to see like old, really, really old stuff, I feel like is the kind of
I want to go.
Perspective. You should, if you ever get a chance.
Like I'm in a country that's just over 100 years old. Like that's there's like there's no like history here. Like America's way older than Canada.
It's like another 100 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 1776. I mean, but we've been here since the 1600s, but like, yeah. So.
But I mean you know, those
1492 and blah, 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 blah. And Columbus sailed the ocean blue and whatever.
Oh yeah, I can't even remember the year though that we're supposed to rhyme that.
Ocean, 1492.
1492, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot older.
Yeah. What else have you guys been watching before we get into The Fly? Anything else that you've been checking out?
Great British Baking Show.
Yeah, I actually watched a Netflix movie last night with what is her name, Maya Hawke, and one of the Riverdale girls was in it, called Do Revenge or something. It's like this high school movie about like revenging I don't know. I don't know what it is about that like particular time, like Easy A and The Duff and those types of movies. I always gravitate towards it because if they're done well, like those two, I really enjoy them. Whereas this one, it felt like it was potentially trying to do that, but then I'm just gonna age myself again. Like the way that it just is nowadays, I just cringe so much at just like what is cool and normal now. I'm just like, you guys are fucking like ridiculous, and you don't sound cool. You sound stupid. Dude. And I'm an old man on my fucking rocking chair now, and I'm just like, just stop. Like,
well, dude, we just had to have the FDA tell people not to cook chicken with NyQuil on it. So it's
what
like,
the hell is that? What is going on?
It's from
here?
TikTok, man. It's from
I hate
TikTok.
this timeline.
Yes,
I really do.
I as I saw that story and someone was tweeting about it, I'm like, reason 897,332 why I no longer want children. It's just shit like this. I'm like, and then on my stream we proceeded to watch the first 5 minutes of Idiocracy because it's just like confirming everything.
No, it's a documentary now.
Yeah,
like I think everybody's kind of like, yeah, this is a documentary, right? It is a good movie. I don't like that it's coming true, but
it's timeless.
Yeah, it is. It's scary, dude. I saw that movie. It said it was a horror movie. That movie is a horror movie. It's
an episode of Black Mirror now.
Yeah, it really is.
I went to the mall the other day, and they have this like in my mall where like Santa goes every year. There's like a sort of thing, but for Hocus Pocus 2, it was just like a thing set up with like a photo op with some random ladies dressed up like witches, but it was to just like showcase that Hocus Pocus 2 is coming out. And I'm just like, I thought it was really cute. I love the whole Halloween-y setup and stuff. I'm definitely going to watch it. That's one of the movies that I grew up with like adoring, and they look fantastic. I know it's going to be like probably super cringy because Disneyifies things way too much, whereas like Hocus Pocus 1, like this is just my speculation on what I can imagine is going to happen, because Hocus Pocus 1 had like the things from like residuals of the 80s and 90s still in it, and like you were allowed to, like The Fly, do some crazy shit. It's all so squeaky clean now with like Disney shit. It even like all the Star Wars shit is Disney. It's too Disney now, and I don't know. I hope it's just fun.
There's no grit. Disney takes the grit out of things, and then it's just like,
oh, dude,
rainbows and unicorns a little bit.
That Home Alone that you did last year, or a couple, whatever, in the last 2 years was.
I didn't watch it. I heard it was really bad.
It was real bad. And Home Alone is a movie that I watch. Like, there's 2 movies I watch every Christmas: Home Alone and Die Hard. Yeah. Die Hard and Home Alone. Home Alone. I watched when I had COVID a couple years ago. I watched all the Home Alones and was going through, and I think we skipped one of them at some point, but. I love those. In that one, I was just like, it just feels like soulless. It's like you could tell when these movies are just made for like profit and not to like anything else. And it's like, because there's a lot of people, I mean, Katie, we were talking about it with Continue last week. Josh has never seen Hellraiser and Continue's never seen Hellraiser. Yeah, it's one of those, well.
And I have this.
That movie is...
Pinhead, like right?
As gay as it gets, because the Clive Barker's super gay. And it's super BDSM, and it's like super hardcore about things. But the first one's a generally good movie, and then like after the second or third sequel, it just all they were like, let's keep the name. There was nothing else. So there's a new one coming out.
A lot of the franchises do that though.
And it's Hellraiser is worse than any of them though, and it's looks like people who generally care about it like did it. And it's the guys who did Night House, and Night House is fucking amazing. We talked about it here. And so it's just like you can tell when people care and are like legitimately, into stuff. Like, did you watch Prey, Katie?
Yes, I did watch that.
Prey, everyone in that movie was super loved the property.
And is a wicked filmmaker though. Like he is super talented. He is so like, I've gushed about him on this show several times just because I knew him. I knew him when he was on a web series. That's like what got me into doing this type of medium was that show, Totally Rad show on Revision 3. But like to see everything he's done and the way he legitimately like understands the craft, he does the prep, he has that care, attention to detail, and his execution is so amazing that I can't believe that he isn't just like already like a household name, but he will be.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot that those low budget like movies like that can just do so much. And that movie just nailed it. The only thing we talked about, and I said first thing, I was like, okay, I'm going to make my one complaint. The CGI bear and animals looked really bad. Everything else, love 100%. You're good. So, okay, let's dive in to what we are here to talk about though. We were talking about The Fly from 1986. Cronenberg's the body horror master himself. And
oh wait, that's the body horror.
Yeah. Okay, let me read the synopsis and we'll get into this. A brilliant but eccentric scientist begins to transform into a giant man-fly hybrid after one of his experiments goes horribly wrong. So, Katie, you have this is your first Cronenberg movie.
Yeah.
And he's known for body horror. I was telling you before, like the show where we were recording, that like Cronenberg is so notorious with body horror that like on Rick and Morty, they fucked up. They mutated an entire world of people, and they called it Cronenberg world. Like that's like body horror is everything like that. Were you surprised that watching this, like the level of like kind of gross out stuff that like he kind of achieves in this film?
It's impressive for 1986. Like just it kind of reminded me like the Thing. I just appreciate practical effects so much. The fingernail thing was so gross. Like I think the vomiting thing was kind of funny, but also disgusting. But a lot of people had warned me, don't eat while you watch this movie, and I understand that now. But I have to say, like, just the makeup that they did and what they achieved in the 80s in that movie was really impressive. It was pretty disgusting, though.
I was legitimately eating when I watched this, and the monkey scene came on, and I was like, oh. Whoa.
Oh.
What am I eating?
Monkeys. My favorite story like this ever of all time is my wife made chicken Alfredo one night, and we put on NCIS. I think it was NCIS or Bones. It was one of those tunes. I think it was NCIS. And literally, like in the first opening of the show, they open up like a tomb and like, you know, there's like the indoor mausoleums kind of thing because of like something was like, I don't know, wrong with it. And like this white goo came out as we're eating chicken Alfredo. And it was like the worst timing of all time. Because like, okay, I'm not eating anymore. I'm like,
I think honestly, anything Alfredo too, just because it's like, I don't do Alfredo. Well, actually, I just don't really do Alfredo because I'm lactose intolerant anyways. But every time I have, I've always liked it, but it's so specific of a like palate flavor thing that I don't go to often, that if there's something else attached to that, I could just see like that's gone from my, like I can't.
Yeah. It was,
none of us are going to eat fettuccine Alfredo the same ever again. No, I won't be able to detach it. How do we just say remove it? Detach it. Why did I say disattach it? It's not a word. I won't be able to detach it from the fly. Oh my God.
I have to say, in my weird rod head too,
I have buttons.
I also forgot about like him walking around like towards the beginning of his transformation, and it looks like there's cum all over his shirt. Like it's because when he started drooling everywhere, and I'm like, oh man, you need to change your clothes there, Goldblum. But like, yeah, this is, I mean, it is what Cronenberg does, right? Like Cronenberg like had been doing body horror. So this is in 86. So he'd already done a lot of his like really like notorious body horror things. So like what we see, I mean, going backwards. Why? Okay, so he done.
I just love
Rabid
80s hair. Like the hair in this is fucking fantastic. Everyone's
Gina Davis
hair
has
is just made up. Fuck,
Gina Davis has her perm. Yeah. Goldblum's got his mullet from like the most like beautiful mullet in the world.
He was ripped in this too.
Oh, dude, I was saying that too. I was like, he got ripped for this film, and it's like, damn, Jeff, you are.
I want
to
walk on a ceiling. Like, damn.
Oh, what a feeling when you're.
I love those scenes though. Like they obviously just like, oh, okay, we're just gonna make this look like a roof, but I just love how he's just like,
yeah.
he goes from looking like hot Jeff Goldblum to like one of the most horrifying individuals by the end of it, and you're like. And I've never seen the sequel. Have you seen the sequel there, Josh?
No.
I've never seen the sequel.
I don't honestly, like, as I was watching this, I was like, wait, have I even seen this? And then there's so many parts that I was like, oh, yes. So, like, it had to have been such a long time ago because there's a few things that, but then I was like, did I actually watch this whole movie, or was it like in passing, like maybe on TBS or, you know, that type of thing, just kind of on in the background? And because there's so many scenes in this movie that I do remember, but as a whole, I don't honestly think I have watched it until now. So, which I'm glad we have this to force people like KPP and I to finally watch the classics.
It's got a lot, man, and you made the exact comparison, which is why I was like, I think KPP would love or appreciate this film at least because of the thing. The thing is that thing we talk about special effects, and the thing is like my top 5 favorite movies. Like it's
totally
two or one, like constantly. It's either that or Alien most days, and the practical effects in this are just like
depends if it's Monday, right?
Yeah, it depends, but. It is Cronenberg is just like he did all these crazy like practical effects for all these movies. I mean, it's the Scanners. The Scanners Head Explode is one of the most notorious like deaths.
I use that GIF all the time.
Yeah, you're like, I blew your mind, and you go. He's got scanners. He's got what else is the things that I think of that I'm just like. There's so many just like crazy movies this man has done in this like from between the 80s and 90s, and you're like, this dude is so damn talented. What's the one with the Videodrome also? Like Videodrome is another one where it's got it's like psychosexual shit where like Woody Collins got a fucking giant vagina on his stomach and he's like pulling guns out of it and stuff like that, and it's just like,
have you seen Men?
I haven't seen Men.
No, I want to see that one though. Though it's an A24, right? Sometimes
I'm not gonna spoil it then.
A24 I have a love-hate relationship with, so
that one is just it's body horror for sure. Like that one is crazy, but like, you know, just watch it. It's fucked. It's mental.
So we just talked about a Pearl last week, which is the new A24 after they'd done X earlier this year, which is a prequel sequel thing.
I got Amp of the Week for that poster. Hey, 5th place.
Did you?
Amp of the Week. Yay! Yeah. I was like, huh? What? Oh, hey, awesome.
I have to say though, too, another thing about this film that's really incredible and I love is it doesn't fuck around. It's 90 minutes and it is like you get.
I love that. I love movies that don't take too long to get to the point.
And I love how it fucking ends too. I'm just like, yes. I don't want to.
I was so sad. I was so like that ending is more depressed. I don't know if I should have felt that way. I was so sad at that ending.
It's very much like
I just felt like going like this. It was just like so metal.
Yeah. Weren't you sad though? Because I feel like Seth was just like misunderstood.
It was totally sad. But person. Like, as like a person that loves metal and that loves like the movies that I've helped produce and written and blah blah blah. It's always like I've done like 3 or 4 different movies where absolutely everyone dies in it. Just because it is so not satisfying for an audience. So when someone else kind of ends a movie on like that, I'm just like, nah.
It's very like, it reminds me of the ending of American Werewolf in London. Because, Katie, have you seen American Werewolf in London?
I have not.
It's a very,
where's the
ending is, it's
I know, I gotta add it to the list.
It's a very similar type of feeling ending because it's the character that is basically cursed, right? They have this thing that they can't, then there's nothing they could do about it. They are fucked the minute this bad thing happens to them.
Yeah.
And there's like, you're just sitting there going, oh, and it's a curse. It's like, it's the thing where like, he's the villain, but he's also the hero. And like, it's that thing where you're like, he's fighting this thing that he can't, because of one small mistake for like, you know, because he was drunk and a little like.
That's the thing of like, was it worth it? He was drunk and sad about a potential ex-boyfriend that he's like, yes, I'll go through the machine. And
yeah, but
you know,
it was the plan all along anyways. So like he preemptively did it. Yes, but he was going to do it regardless.
Yeah.
And it was even if he waited for her to come, Jesus.
But if he wasn't drunk,
like,
if he wasn't drunk,
he still would have went drunk. Maybe the fly wouldn't have been there. Who cares? Yeah. But like it still was this thing. He got like jacked from it and wanted to go in again.
He's a gymnast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I love those types of montages.
Yeah.
I was just saying, like, because Footloose has something similar
in it.
It
was so 80s, yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, why was gymnastics just like the pinnacle of strength? Like in the 80s?
Yeah.
Well,
like if you could do uneven bars, you were just like peak physical performance.
Like walking on this, like they, come on. I was jealous.
I think about it like the 80s. We were still like fighting the Soviet Union, right? So you're like things like the hockey against them and like all the Olympics and stuff against them. And it's just like, I think a lot of that stuff was like, you know, it's like America. Like, so like, that's the kind of stuff that you think goes, well, I don't know.
That's how Canada is about hockey. Like we are, when it's like the World Juniors time or we're like Team Canada, let's fucking go.
That whole Shoresy show was like, you're like, just like Canada embracing like hockey for like the whatever, like a bunch of old washed up dudes, who can't play professional, but
and NHL's like, you can't have our players, like, but I'm from Canada, I want to play for Team but no, you're under contract, you're not allowed to go.
Yeah, I didn't realize because the Avalanche just signed their young kid for a contract and it was like $12 million a year, and everyone's like, oh my god, I'm like, that's nothing in any of the other sports, but like I guess that's a lot of money in hockey. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, well, but they don't have NFL money.
No, not at all. Not at all. So it's that whole thing. What I really appreciate, and I had forgotten this part of the movie, is that like that he is incredibly smart, but he also knows his own limits at the beginning of the film, where he's like, yeah, I just get smarter people than me to build parts together. And he's just got like his real superpower at the beginning is like vision. He's got vision and an idea, and he knows that like
and a rock hard bod.
Dude, he's ripped, man. And that it's funny, man, because Goldblum has turned into like an internet.
See, Psycho Gorman is actually looking at a picture of Jeff Goldblum right now.
My hunky boy.
He's like, well, even like the internet like drools over Goldblum whenever he does anything now, right? And it's like he's like a walking, talking meme these days, where he's like, because he talks like slow and he does everything Goldblum does, but like he was still Goldblum back then, but he was just ripped and just doing his own thing. And Gina Davis is like in her prime. Like this is before A League of Their Own and like all this stuff.
I looked up their ages because I always get curious. I'm always like, how old were people when they filmed this? Jeff Goldblum was 34 and Gina Davis was 30.
Yeah.
And so I don't know why that's important, but I always think it's interesting to be like, what part in their lives did they make this?
Well, I mean, Goldblum is like, I mean, it's still pretty relevant. I mean, Gina Davis doesn't appear in much stuff like I've seen anymore, but like she did a lot in the 90s. I mean, you go think of A Long Kiss Tonight, Good Night, I think. Yeah, Beetlejuice, and that was still the 80s, but like,
do we know anything like legitimately? The amount of times I've seen really well done like fake Beetlejuice 2 posters, like I really that is something that I want to see happen. I loved Beetlejuice coming up, and I would love to see it done well. But is it like, do we know anything?
Are you gonna? Because if it's done well, Tim Burton can't be involved because that motherfucker jumped the shark years ago. But yeah.
Hey, I think I'm wearing a Nightmare Before Christmas t-shirt. that was not. He was not even the director of that movie. Anyway,
when you can tell Joe,
his
Tim
aesthetic, he understands art direction like nobody else. He's got an aesthetic touch stamp to a movie that will like make it part of his universe. But has he made a great film since like what? I don't remember.
I think he's making movies that like I don't want to watch, like Alice in Wonderland and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I don't want that. And I don't want Tim Burton's stamp on that. Like I want Beetlejuice or kind of like the old school things that he used to make. Like this, like Edward Scissorhands, the older, like the unique stories versus in the remakes.
Edward Scissorhands is so good.
I like Sweeney Todd. His version of Sweeney Todd was great.
That was his
really last
well
one.
Done.
That was so my favorite 2 musicals are Sweeney Todd and Repo, the genetic opera, because they're both horror movies.
He didn't do Repo, did he?
No.
I'm just saying, like that. Sorry, my brain broke because I was like, I really like Repo, the genetic opera too. So I was
did you ever see Perfume? I felt like that was really Sweeney Todd-esque, where they're using. It wasn't a musical, but it was like just the premise of like using humans for other things. It was
sounds weirdly familiar, but I think there was just. When did it come out? Do you know? 2006.
Yeah, it was a while ago, but I remember like being like, this is like the Sweeney Todd of Perfume.
It reminded me of that other the Jude Law movie with Forrest Whitaker, where it was like they were repoing organs. But
Artificial Intelligence?
No, it was called
Repo Men?
Repo Men, yeah.
Oh. Yeah. That always felt like a ripoff of the opera though.
It had a lot of the same premises. It was just like less campy, like with how over the top everything was, you know. But man, after watching, what's even better after you've watched Buffy the Vampire Slayer, it's like Giles is the repo guy singing everything the whole movie.
He's so good in that.
Sarah Michelle Gellar was just in that Netflix movie I watched last night, and it's cool to see her kind of like in stuff again, because she kind of went away for a bit, and I think her and Freddie Prinze Jr., they're married, right? They were just doing like a cooking show or cooking books together and stuff for a while, and they're too good looking not to be in front of a camera. Like both of them just have to be. Come on, they're still way too good looking.
I see people talk about she's not she's all that. I Know What You Did Last Summer, and Sarah Michelle Gellar's character is still one of the dumbest people of all time for that film, because she's like gets away from the killer and then decides to turn around and stay in the alley and just get herself murder killed, and is just like one of the most infuriating scenes of all horror. You're like, just go 5 more feet, you dumb bitch.
Like,
go into that.
I love that you're wearing a Scream shirt though, like, because like slasher movies in the early 2000s were what that was like at such an influential age for me, like coming up, and then like Scream was just like, it changed the game for everything and for everyone after the fact. And then we had the 2000 slashers, like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Sorority Row or whatever, and Urban Legends. They were all like kind of almost the exact same. It was like the hot people slasher movies that were not good, but it was very influential on my love
Urban
for
Legends,
slashers anyways.
Urban Legends falls apart at the very end, like with the reveal and everything like that, is where that movie, it's really generally pretty entertaining up until then. And you're like, really?
But it has good kills and it fun ones with like the pop rocks and stuff.
And the drain cleaner,
Yeah, well, obviously the Drano is going to do the trick, but it's got to be pop rocks because it's the Urban Legend.
So the thing about this film, about The Fly, that I think is bonkers, and I've kind of forgotten a bunch of it. How much Goldblum like just complete.
I literally thought, I'm like, oh, he's got a fly in his room. Like,
it worked. It's been working.
I had I've had
says The Fly. I go.
I had a fly, and when I was streaming yesterday, like hitting me in the face and shit. I was like,
it knew you watched the movie.
I hadn't even watched it yet. I watched it this morning.
It knew. No, it was like, reminding you to watch the movie. Don't forget.
I mean, I had been planning on it all along because we were here.
It doesn't seem to be working today.
What's not working?
So I'll explain. So when you're the only one on screen, if I say anything, it doesn't get recorded on the video.
No, it does. It does.
Oh, does it? Okay. I thought it didn't. That's why I shut up all the time, because I was like,
oh no, the first time I had this set up, I forgot that when I set up another scene, if the other scene like URLs aren't on that behind it, then that audio isn't going to come through on that scene. So I fixed it. So it's a seamless thing. So like it can actually be like a literal L or J cut. So if like I'm on your face, if I'm coming on your face, and then
that's not this kind of podcast, Josh. It's not this kind of podcast.
I don't know. You are on OnlyFans now, I thought, right? So
I am, but that's besides the point. I mean, that's like
it's time to teabag Rod now.
I told Katie, or I told you too, Josh, how my little sister found my tweet about it and it was giving me shit, and I'm like,
oh my goodness,
womp,
YOLO,
yeah,
womp womp. I mean, it's like, you know what? If I'm feeling positive as a 39-year-old and I'm like doing shit like that, whatever, man, it makes me feel good. I'm cool with it.
I gotta find something and send it to you. I just, or make something and send it to you, and there has to be just it. Yeah.
I have so many questions.
Me too, Katie. It's not just you. It's not just you.
No, just like it's gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing. Because people are already requesting it. It's gotta come. Not.
Wait, what's that?
I don't know what's happening. Josh,
I'm not doing this on purpose. Seriously, I don't know what the hell is going on today.
Dude, I know what's going on. It's called you have super ADHD again, Josh. That's what's happening, I think.
It's Sunday. I don't know. This is a weird day.
I know. Yeah. Thank you for doing this on a Sunday.
No, it works. I mean, we had to like
any day is a good day for Murder Moose, to be honest. But like, I just don't even know. Yeah,
we just have to schedule it far enough out in advance.
No, because we do. We don't have a normal day anymore. I don't think.
No, not really.
It used to be Wednesdays for the longest time. Then it was Tuesdays. Then it was Mondays for a while. Sunday just honestly, I think it works almost easier on a weekend if we can all watch the movie in time. Because then it's just like a ramp up to it instead of it being like,
Yeah.
And then like sitting down and being like, wait, what happened in it?
Well, I always my preferential
anyways.
Yeah. My preference is always like the earliest I want to watch is the day before we record because it gives me like that fresh, like it was watching this morning and it was like I said earlier, but this movie's super tight. Like it's 90 minutes and it gets going and it doesn't waste any time. Like, which is the pacing of this movie is amazing because it goes.
I love where it starts too.
Yeah,
because it's like these are already characters that have they exist and they're busy. They're in the middle of something, and you meet them meeting for the first time instead of it being like the stupid showing Jeff getting ready to go to the party or like stuff that doesn't, it cuts all the bullshit and starts right in the middle of like they meet and they're talking now and you get caught up as the conversation goes and it's like not a lot of like exposition, it's just straight. I loved it. More movies should start like that.
It's their like they're driving the characters who drive everything and like who's like their relationship is the driving force behind everything in this film. And it's because she pushes him to kind of like helps him like as he's troubleshooting, like when she meets him, he hasn't been able to teleport any living matter in his chambers. You show him where the fuck is this dude just getting baboons? He's like, oh, okay.
I was gonna say, like, what possessed him to be like, let's start with monkeys? Why wouldn't they like work up? Like, why didn't the raw meat? Why wasn't that the first choice? Or
but
a bug?
Like when he explodes the first one, and then all of a sudden there's a second. I was like, wait, how many fucking monkeys does this guy just have? Also, like that's not an easy thing to acquire. It's a monkey, and they're the scary ones too. Like that.
Yeah.
He's also like, sorry I killed your brother or whatever to the other one where it's like
you just have
that. He's like hugging that one. Like he teleports it and then he's like hugging it. He's like, aww.
But I also I couldn't tell how much time had passed in the beginning of this, but I think it was only like a day, right? A day or two.
He's just like, oh yeah, we'll just clean that up and now you're going in.
But also just kind of like this is just a personal thing, but like they killed this other monkey, right? And they cleaned it up or whatever. And then she's like, you're kind of cute. And they just start boning. Like nothing traumatic just happened in the pod.
Like the steak. Well, she makes a comment about the steak, but like, he's like, wait a second. I have an idea. Here, try this steak. And she's like, wait, like a monkey just like exploded.
Died in it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like 2 seconds ago.
That was... No, in the movie, that was the night before. Then they boned, and then they that was their next morning breakfast and bed kind of thing.
Flies had that much sex drive. Like,
yeah,
he's just a horny fly.
Honestly, I was like, I feel like I don't know enough about flies to understand.
Do they just fuck all the time? I don't know.
I'll Google it, I guess.
How much do flies fuck? Is a
wait? What
Google that?
Yeah.
Procreate. Okay. How much do flies?
And then put in what's continues URL again? We'll just start Googling things.
Her sexstore.com that leads to her website, or I don't know, sex whatever. Someone in continues community bought her a really goofy URL, which is hysterical, and it leads to her website. But yeah.
Things not to Google at work.
Yeah, don't Google this at work. I think flies do enjoy. I'm learning how they do it by accident.
We're an educational podcast, Katie.
Yeah, I guess apparently that for male flies, pleasure comes with ejaculation. So I guess they really do like getting it on. So it seems like a legitimate storyline, plot line.
Well, he's fucking her, and he's like, it seems like he hasn't finished or whatever, or like, because she's like, oh, you must not have any like fluids in your body, which means they've been going for a long time. And it seems like it's like when you drink.
Here you go.
Yeah.
The more you know.
The more you know. I did it. I Googled it so you didn't have to.
It's, I mean, my Google history is already fucked up enough, Katie. So we're I remember like, I knew something was going to be a Google. I shouldn't have Googled one day, and then it was worse than I thought it was going to be. I'm like, oh, that's why you never Google that. And I'm like,
Do I even want to ask?
So, if it's from Rod.
So one day I was watching Zeke stream and he was playing this old Sega CD game. And it was like this bear attacked a guy. And so I thought it'd be funny everyone was making jokes about bear cum. And so I was like, how sticky is bear cum? I Googled it. And then I realized after I hit enter what else a bear is. A bear is a hairy gay man, Katie, if you don't know that.
Oh, I knew that. I knew that. I just can imagine what you discovered.
He just did this and this, and Google went like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told everyone never to Google that, and then I think I got timed out in Zeke's chat. So yeah, that was my adventure that day, and it just reminded me of your Googling, Katie.
Well, I'm probably on a list now, so
it's okay. This woman's a fly pervert. What's wrong with her? No, I'm just kidding.
That girl at the bar though, she was just willing to go with him after he like broke the guy's.
Boom! That's hot. Let's go.
Yeah. She's like, wow, let's go hang out more and get drunk before going back to your place. And I'm like,
she was the prize.
I know.
She was the prize. Like, so they were like, oh, and I'm like, and you're rooting for the fat dude. Like, you're like all about. Well, so. Multiple things that scene are fucked up, right? Jeff Goldblum shows up with like dress pants on and a leather jacket with his nipples just hanging out.
Chocolate bars.
Yeah.
Also, something was going on with his face at that point too.
It was after he had gone through and he was starting to
he had like Pablo's problem. Face. Some people say I eat too many chocolate bars and that I don't wash my face. That was have you seen that? There was a band. Pablo's problem. Just Google that. It was like a commercial back in the day for, I don't even remember what. It could have been like a local thing, to be honest, because there was a band in Edmonton that made a song. We played with them a few times, the Johnsons, and they made a song called Pablo's Problem from this commercial about this guy talking about eating too many chocolate bars because he had bad acne. I think it was honestly for Proactive, the Proactive commercial, Pablo's Problem. So he had Pablo's Problem. He had too many chocolate bars and he had acne on his face.
That girl seemed like she was kind of a party animal. Like she was just there to get, party and, also after he did pick her, that arm scene gave me anxiety because I knew it was coming, but I hadn't seen it in a while. I'm like, I don't want to watch this guy's arm break. I hate
what
arms
is that
breaking.
movie with, I do too. I have like horror story from growing up in school with that. But what was that movie with like Arnold or Stallone where it's just like
Over the Top?
Yeah, Over the Top. And there's so many scenes like that in that movie. I'm just like, no,
I've never
this movie.
I've never seen it, but
they just keep
know
breaking
Over
each
the
other's arms. I'm like, what the fuck? This is like my nightmare in a movie.
Didn't they?
I like how that doesn't really bother me, but like, the fingernail thing was absolutely disgusting.
That was gross too. Dude, one of the things that will make me cringe in a movie is like if it's like, a spy movie or a torture movie where they put things under your fingernails.
Oh, that's awful.
It gives me this wasn't that bad.
I know.
I can't.
It's weird, man. Do you ever wonder, like, you ever have memories of things that you go, and this is, I'm not bringing up specifics, but there's like things that creep you out or things that maybe rev you up a little bit in other ways. You go back to wondering why or thinking about it. And if it's all natural or there's just things in your brain or in your childhood that you just left their fucking marks and you don't know why those things affect you now
why
that they do.
Why did you say all natural? I don't understand that word in the context of what you're saying.
I don't even remember saying it, to be completely honest, but what
I don't
Rod
know.
Blacked out when he asked the question.
I don't know what you're asking. It doesn't make any sense right now.
So what I'm saying is, as the things that creep us out,
okay,
but like, or like turn us on, what you ever think about, like what links back to things in your childhood? Because they say a lot of things like that, like are centered around things from your childhood. So that's what I'm saying. I'm like
how I'm afraid of like sharks now because I watched Jaws way too young.
Yeah. The influential years of your life.
Yeah. And it's why you always joke of like when weird shit happens to kids, like they're gonna have some weird fucking fetish when they're like, 23 because of this shit. But like I wonder like what things affected us or me, like when this like example that like you go, oh, okay, I don't know why that fucks with me the way it does, but it does. And it's I have weird things in my own head that I go back to, oh, okay, that makes more sense now. But yeah.
Okay.
I'm just okay. I'm just gonna stop talking now. I'm gonna. Stop
I don't know what you're
now.
trying to get at. There's no.
like
what was the like asterisk at the, or what was the like?
Well, it was basically like why
the point.
Why does the fingernail thing, or why do these things affect us now?
Yeah.
The way that they do is what my point was.
Well, like because like for you guys, like the arm breaking thing is like and for me, I'm like, oh, that was a cool fact, and then like but I get super grossed out.
Junior high, in gym class, we were paired off in threes in wrestling, and we got told to take the inside arm so you can pin the guy. I was the referee in threes. The guy took the wrong arm, so the other guy had leverage on the back arm, and his arm busted right in front of my eyes, and I heard it and saw it wrap around his own arm because it didn't clean break. It broke here and did that. So he went into shock. I almost went into shock. I was just like, no! Like, and then they sent the track star to the office to call an ambulance, and they put a blanket over his head so he wouldn't look at it and go into more shock. I was the referee. It was right there. I've never heard or seen anything more like
see, that makes sense.
Intense.
Like that.
So it takes me back to a very traumatic moment in my life where I seen it for real. So like when we watched The Sadness and they like angled that scene on the stairs where they break that guy's arm, it was the same angle I saw a real arm get broken, and the sound effects were so loud in the mix. I was just like, of all the like that movie's so over the top with like grossness. That affected me more than anything else in the movie because I was just like, no, like, no, not again. I can't.
Man, but am I the only one who still wanted to try that steak? Like that she says it was artificial.
Like steak.
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian, so I was good.
Yeah. Katie's like, this is why I don't eat meat.
This is why I don't eat meat.
I was laughing. I was laughing so hard at people in your chat the other day. Like, do you eat chicken? And you're like, I'm a vegetarian.
Like, but I thought chicken might count, and I'm like, nope, it's still meat. It's
I know some vegetarians that. Well, then I guess they would consider themselves or what is it called?
Pescatarian.
They just eat
fish
stuff or whatever. Yeah. So I know a lot of vegetarians that will just turn into pescatarians or have rather, but yeah.
I did mostly vegetarian for a while and would occasionally eat chicken, but I never was like, I'm a I wasn't running around going, I'm a vegetarian or anything like that. I was just like, I don't eat much meat, but so.
I'm a meatitarian, so.
You eat meat and more meat?
If I could.
And only meat?
I don't know.
Some people love meat. Like,
I love barbecue.
Yeah.
Like Texas. I've never been to Texas. I only want to go to Texas just to eat a bunch of different meat. That's the only reason I want to go.
I'm telling you now, you don't want to go there regardless because the people running Texas are evil assholes. So yeah, you don't want to go there.
But the barbecue, it looks so good.
I don't care. You could get that barbecue other places. You get it at other places.
I know.
You can get it other places.
Where? Louisiana?
Other places.
Listen, not everybody in Texas is an asshole, though. You know,
just the people running the state.
Just the people running it, but like, there's probably local businesses that could use a little love. I'm thinking. But you got to go through the state and like buy things and pay taxes there and shit like that. So yeah, I don't know. What if it's
from
like
Canada?
Does Kentucky have barbecue?
I think most places here have barbecue. Like, I went and got barbecue on my birthday. So, and that's in Colorado.
I know,
so
but Texas is like iconic BBQ, you know?
Wait, how was your birthday, Rod? What did you get up to?
We went and hung out and we went and got barbecue. And then we went and we went to a bar and had that had like Nintendo 64s at every table. So the wife and I were like playing Mario Kart.
That's so
and like
awesome.
Mario Karting it up and getting hamburgers and shit. It was good times. Good times. So
Hamburger. Let me say one more to you, Rod. Hamburger.
I think like during the second half of this film, when after he's Brindle, well, also what like an iconic name like Seth Brundle is such a like it sounds like a fly and like it is like it just sounds like I don't know it just goes along with the character and what happens to this dude is goddamn fuck you Josh. I know I say silly shit and it happens.
Well, no,
but,
every time I don't think you've noticed. KPP has noticed every time you say fly, I go.
Yeah,
because I'm looking at the camera when I'm talking a lot of the time. So like,
and I love
you're
that
here.
You look at the camera.
God damn it, Josh.
I'm just having fun. I'm not even doing anything to him this time, and he still hates me.
I don't hate you. I'm just saying, God damn it, Josh. God damn it, Josh. But I think the second half of the movie, the thing
that's a moose.
No, it's not really a moose.
It's a moose.
It's not really a moose. He calls it a moose, but it's
fuck you, Rod. It's a
what is it really,
moose.
Josh? What is it really? Isn't it like a walrus? It's like a walrus, isn't it?
It's our moose. It's the mating call of the Canadian moose.
Is it not a moose? Because I used to go to Moosehead Lake in Maine every summer for camping, and I've heard a lot of moose make sounds. Did
it sound like this?
I mean, I have to say it could be a multitude of animals, but it's similar to what a moose sounds like.
Did it sound like this?
No, this sounds like that, Josh.
Yes, that's exactly what a moose sounds like.
Did you see, Katie? Did you see the video that was going around probably a month and a half, 2 months ago, of a moose chasing a bear? And like
no,
the
I
bear
have not
just
seen
like
it. I only saw people cooking chicken and NyQuil, and then I quit the internet for a week. So
this is before that, but it was
that's
like a bear running away because a moose was chasing it. Like that's how horrifying moose are. That
They're
like this bear is
huge.
like, fuck this.
But does the public service announcement not understand that when you do something like that, like don't do this, you're essentially just telling people, look what you can try instead. It's like when the Tide Pods were a thing, it's just like, then there's a random person going, I never thought about it before, but it could, I wonder what they kind of taste like, maybe. I don't know. And now people, it's like, oh, blue chicken, that could be interesting. Like
I literally lay awake when I can't sleep at night thinking about why people ate Tide Pods. Like I can't logically understand why there's no logical reason someone would sit down and go, I'm going to eat some laundry detergent today.
I think the issue with those was it was the kids. They thought they were like candies or something, but after it became a thing, then there was adults that, that's what I'm saying. That's the aftermath of like it going viral was people were like,
This sounds like a good idea. Like it's just such a idiocracy.
Idiocracy
population
is exactly it. Yeah. I sometimes say something out loud, and it sounds kind of it sounds kind of harsh, but I go, when you protect the dumbest members of your society, and it sucks to say out loud, they keep reproducing because they're protected by society. You go, you're killing off Darwinism. Like you're literally going. You're protecting these people who would take themselves out of the gene pool and allowing them to corrupt the gene pool and make the gene pool worse. You know what I mean? You're literally lowering the quality of your gene pool by making them wear seatbelts or telling them to not eat.
Also, they might not wear seatbelts, though. Like, they might try a Tide Pod and then say, hey, I want a Tide Pod bowl for dinner. What's stopping them?
Maybe it's the fly in the bowl.
True.
Maybe.
They've seen the fly. That's enough, but that's all they need to.
No, they're just like, I got my Tide bowl. Oh, there's a fly. Oh, and then they just throw it out.
Dude, I think that the eating in the second half of this movie and it spills over to his apartment is really, really gross. and it starts with his coffee that he puts like 8 pounds of sugar in, and then goes from there.
This movie just made me want chocolate bars. Like
he eats a lot.
Really? This movie made you hungry?
No, I love like O. Henry with Reese's peanut butter. I was out. That's like my go-to little snack. I'll buy the like little bite bag of it. I don't even think you have O. Henry's in the States.
I haven't had an O. Henry. I haven't seen them here.
Okay, so they have to be a Canadian treat. I don't know. They're really, really good.
I just feel like if I wanted candy, it was quickly that craving was quickly squashed when he vomited all over that man's hand and melted it.
No way,
dude. They used.
I see it was time though.
It was time lapsed. Like it reminded me of like the end of Indiana Jones, right, where the Ark of the Covenant melts the Nazi's face. It was like the same kind of like time lapse where it was like the hand going away, and you're like, man, that's gnarly. And I have to wonder how badly that dude was like, if I don't know, like if the acid like kept him from bleeding out. He was such a creep
though. Like if any character deserved to be acid-handed and like acid foot, he got trench foot like crazy. But like I don't know.
He saved, but he was the hero of the film almost because he saves Veronica.
I couldn't tell if characters. Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was a redemption arc or if it was just the only option because he was like a creep in the beginning.
He was
the entire time. Every time he had a chance to say anything kind of normal, it went to full creep and full sexual predator. The entire time, every word out of his mouth, I was just like, ugh. Like get away from like
where she's like, give me the key back, and he's like, I'm gonna keep this. It's like.
I know. That's just like she should get her locks changed immediately.
Yeah. She should move out of the city.
She should start a new life somewhere else.
I was saying he reminded me of like Hans Gruber, like how he was dressed up in that movie, like and he had that kind of beard like Alan Rickman had in Die Hard, but like, and he's just like the whole time. Every time he's on scene, you're like, this guy is he's just cringy, and yet he does the thing where that is ballsy. That is like when the Fly takes her at the end of the movie when she's about to have her abortion, and he goes after her.
Yeah, this is a lighthearted movie, by the way. Super lighthearted.
Nothing is about this.
It's a heartwarming tale.
Yeah, it's an easy watch.
What is this movie rated? Is it R?
Yes.
Oh yeah, it's very
hard. I can't remember when I've been educated on when this R became a MPAA rating.
It was
when the pirates
in the
took
60s.
over.
I think at the end of the 60s that the R rated stuff came out because I think of like maybe in the early 60s. I guess like things like Rosemary's Baby. I think Rosemary's Baby came out in like 63 and I think that was rated R, but I'm not 100%. Yeah. But no, this movie, I mean, this was at the tail end of the like video nasty stuff, like where stuff started getting censored real heavy in the 80s because of like all that, you know. We watched a movie called Censor like last year about a British woman in the mid 80s who was like her whole job was like censoring things. Mm-hmm. And really cool movie, really weird, but like it was
super well done. Like
yeah. And this, to be fair, this movie doesn't like it grosses out, but it doesn't like, it's not a constant gross out. You get like the arm breaking and the some of the stuff, like it getting way more hardcore in the second half with the Fly stuff. But even then it's more like, just like, I don't think it's stuff that like would ever get it banned or anything like that. It's mostly like the like slow buildup of human fly things, right?
If Hostel is not banned, then this is not going to get banned.
I just love like the definite like thing, like I don't know. You don't see those full prosthetic things where people are walking and it's a full prosthetic, and like the whole like everything for the Fly like reminded me of just one of the monsters from The Thing, because no one really does that amount of like, you know, practical.
Yeah.
Ever.
I mean, when she pulls his jaw off at the last scene, and it's just like, and then it turns completely the thing where like the skin is melting off and pulling off, and the fly creature is coming out, and it's just like, yeah, it is. That scene's like, it's all super impressive. It's like, that's why the 80s are just what they are, and why they're such an iconic era for horror, because you're sitting there going, you have this just complete transformation that with nothing but just practical effects, and you just do this really, really cool thing. And it's like, when horror nowadays does that and doesn't use CG, it's just so much more pure, and it feels like what horror is supposed to be, you know?
Bring back the 80s.
Oh, and now I'm thinking of talking about practical effects. I don't know if you guys saw it. So that Smile movie's coming out, right?
Can't wait.
And
are we doing that on the show?
Yeah, I'm down. They as an advertising thing, they sent people to baseball games this weekend, and they were like sitting behind home plate, just going, as like as the advertisements for the movie. It reminded me back. Katie, you probably watched it, Fringe, where they had like the bald headed guys, and they sent them to baseball games and like stuff, and they were like, or American Idol, and they were just like sitting in the crowds like to advertise things. It was
so awesome.
It was a pretty cool. If you go look for it on Twitter, Smile, like
I love it.
Advertising or whatever. It was pretty dope.
Anytime, because you, as you know, follow the Creepy Duck Designs, like, love all of his work and stuff, but he had like 2 alternate posters get picked up by the movie and are being handed out as like limited edition prints if you go and see it at certain theaters in the States and stuff. Yeah. So anytime he has something like to do with a movie and stuff, I tend to want to check it out even more, because he hasn't let me. That's why we watched The Sadness, was because he did the actual original poster for that movie. And
they said it's rated R and hardcore, so I was like, cool, I'm down.
It looks awesome to me.
So, Katie, what was your overall feelings of this movie? Because it sounds like you did generally like it. It got you a couple times, but were you like happy that you sat down and watched this?
Yeah, really quick. R became a rating in 1968, just because I looked it up. But I think I like the movie. I didn't expect to feel like really sad at the end, because they did a good job of making Seth kind of someone likable, and then you work through this and you're like, man, it's not really his fault. Like, he's just got fly body now. So that ending like really hits you. And I thought the characters were great. There weren't like overwhelming number of characters to keep track of. I just really did feel like the movie was effective. And now I kind of want to see what other movies Cronenberg has done to see if I like those similarly. But yeah, I feel like this was a decent horror movie from the 80s. Like, they did a great job making something effective.
It's one of those films that I hadn't seen it in years, but like it left such a fucking impression on me for the practical effects in it. And it was just, and Goldblum's fucking awesome.
And that pod is so cool too.
Yeah. Brundlefly. I just have such sadness for Brundlefly. Like, just that ending, and like, I think the movie ended and my mouth just dropped, because I was like, they just blew his head off. Just like, here's the credits.
Boom. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just
I don't know. I'm really weird when it comes to movies that end, especially like that, but it's like super impactful.
Yeah.
And like to end on the high impact point, instead of it it ends and starts like right when it should, I think. Yeah. Like it starts on like something's already happening. It ends and doesn't let you like see, I don't know, like you get to,
it doesn't resolve like all. Yeah. Like, it doesn't, like, she was pregnant with his larva. Exactly. I don't know. So it didn't do the thing where it's like 6 months. Yeah. 9 months later. And she's like staring out a balcony, like about to give birth or something like that. I actually like not knowing. Yeah. Because then it just kind of takes away impact. There was a movie I watched. Oh my gosh. It was a Mike Flanagan film, and it was decent. Hold on. It was on Netflix. Hold on. It's Hush. It's not Hush. I did like Hush. He did another one that was based on a Stephen King book.
Yeah. Then that was Gerald's Game.
Gerald's Game. I really liked it. The ending ruined it for me.
Yeah.
Like I thought the ending was awful.
It goes on a little bit too long. Like the whole explaining that the dude was really a serial killer and shit like that. It's funny.
Took it away from me. And I felt like that made it less impactful. So like why I liked this film is because it's like, I'm not getting all this like exposition that's not necessary for my brain to enjoy what happened, I guess.
Well, that's Hollywood, this ending.
Mm-hmm. I had to wonder, and as you were talking about it, I was wondering if it was all Cronenberg, or if like the studio wanted him to leave it like that, so that if it did well, they did make a sequel with the kid.
I was assuming it. My brain was like, I saw The Fly too. I was like, it's got to be something to do with the baby.
So I wonder if there was a thing, but like we did. What was that? What was the movie we did? His kid did, Josh, where they like were like assassins going into people's minds and taking over. What the fuck was that called? Where with Tilda Swinton was in it, and it was really dope. I can't think of the name of the
Jennifer
fucking movie
Lopez
now.
in it?
No, it wasn't. It was a sci-fi movie where his like this assassin would basically go into someone's mind and like drive the thing and like commit assassinations and stuff, and it got really fucked up towards the end. But like I can't even think of the name of it, because that movie did the same thing where it was like
Possible Worlds.
No,
it says a man lives in a parallel worlds, falling in love with the same woman while the police hunt down a serial killer who steals brains.
No.
Is that just another movie she's in that's like eerily similar?
Or has it was to deal Possessor. Possessor, Josh.
Right.
That was Cronenberg's kid. And yeah, it's
Possessor
the same
was,
kind of
like the thing that made Possessor so good is its aesthetic choices in like stripping things down and then adding like flair. Like it was artistic. It was like a weird movie, and it was all to do with pacing, and like its art direction and stuff was what made that package such a cool experience.
It did a lot that we were talking about though, like where it was like it wasn't giving you a bunch of crap beforehand. It was like it was starting, and it was like this established world, and these characters are doing these things, and it didn't have to explain everything, and just kind of let you figure some things out by itself.
I love how like Cronenberg's son does something I still feel was 10 times better than his father's latest movie, but like you see the like difference in like obviously budgets and stuff, like where Possessor, the bed thing that they were sitting in looked like they took an old like record player from the 80s and then added just the tiniest bit to it and made it into this bed, but aesthetically it looked like a high-end retro thing that could potentially do that, whereas like in Crimes of Farts,
Crimes of the Future,
no, it's Crimes of Farts, that chair thing and everything was like a little too over the top, and like I don't know, it wasn't as cool, or I don't know.
Yeah, Crimes of the Future is a weird film. I liked it a lot, but Josh did not. But yeah, well, so the ending of Defy, the thing that I think is really cool though is like it has like when she's at the abortion clinic and the fly takes her, there's only like 10 minutes left of the film. So, there's like credits and stuff. So it's like that conclusion is wrapped up in that scene, and they do everything real quick. They don't ever like waste any time. Like none of this movie wastes time. Like none of it feels like they just added shit to like, add runtime to the film.
I will say there were a couple sequences of walking down hallways that felt a little bit painfully long, but they were not super frequent.
Well, I think the big thing with that scene that sticks out when you say that is after they get into that argument because she won't go into the pod, and he's like running down the hallway, and the only thing he does is like smack the light. It's like, why was that?
The flies in the way. He's trying to get the.
There's an Easter egg.
He got it.
It also, the ending scene of this where you guys are talking about where she shoots him. When he crawls out of that fucking pod all fucked up, you just feel like you're like, you don't know what he melted with, because it's like it seemed like he started merging with like the glass.
I think it said pod, like Brundle fly pod became like a thing.
Yeah, well, it's like metal was coming out of him, like in like just completely. he was a mess before going in there at the end, right? And
why
but
kept going through? Like, what was he trying to accomplish? It's like, I
He was
just
trying
want to
to-
go faster.
he wanted to be more human. He
over
wanted to be more
there.
human again, right? So,
But
dude,
it was unfair of him to be like, you, me, let's become one, like all three of us, let's become a like that wouldn't have worked, I don't think.
No, but he was desperate. Like, I think that the whole thing is like he's desperation. Also, I have to say, so did you guys notice when he was like going into his cabin, it looked like one of his balls was just sitting in the, like, there looked like there was a testicle just sitting in there, because he was talking about it with Gina Davis. He's like, oh, this is the Grundle Museum, right? He's like where all his teeth were, and there's just a thing that looked like a ball sitting in the fucking thing, and he was running around without anything hanging there. So you're like, I assume flies have they don't have external testicles like we do. So it's like, so his balls just fell off, and he kept one of them in his medicine cabinet. No.
Come on.
He's keeping his teeth. He might as well keep a ball. I mean,
Yeah. Man, what kind of acid are you dropping that you can like burn through everything that quickly, man?
That's what I was thinking. It was the same, that and him having more than one monkey were the same things. It's like, wait a second. Like, those are the two, like,
Yeah.
no, that's ridiculous.
It's like
there's
xenomorph blood.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, there's no way.
It's
Like, it got on your lip. Is that not burning your, like, face now? Like,
is it fly? Because he's part fly. That his
Yeah.
yeah, what fly has, like, oh, get off of me. You're burning. Like, what? Just get out of here.
I'm wondering towards the end of that film how many hours a day Goldblum had to sit in a chair, you know, like to do all that makeup, or if it was more like, because there's a lot of makeup, and he's wearing a suit, and it's like his hands are all in things, everything like that. And it's just
And
like,
he's
man,
this.
that face he makes a lot.
I just love those scenes because he's just like, over here? Director?
It's just it's like him doing Goldblum face. It's still like, I think one of my favorite things ever is just all the Goldblum memes from Jurassic Park, right? Like, it's like, has he's turned into like, I saw someone turning like him lying on his back, like breathing in like Dr. Grant or whatever, like, like putting his face by the dinosaur in, like, so it's like him listening to Goldblum breathing is just like, it was going around on the internet the other day. Yeah. Yeah.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. It's wonderful. I mean, is there anything else we want to talk about with this? Because it's a really cool movie that really, like, this is why Cronenberg was like the master of body horror, and it still like maintains that reputation to this day. But like, I'm glad
he's the only reason I know that body horror exists. So I just like always assume every time he walks into a room, he's like doing this or something. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah. Just doing weird things with his body.
I'm body horror guy.
That's how he lets people know. He just starts waving his arms around and
Hi,
he looks like
I do body
I'm David
horror.
Cronenberg.
He's a Jamiroquai video, like,
and then he starts
extra.
spinning, doing gymnastics.
There's a lot of his
Why
movies.
did Gina Davis just like come out of the bedroom like, yeah, he's just doing gymnastics now? Like, it was a total normal night activity.
It reminded me of what's the movie? Why do I only think of whiskey? And then he does the
I have no idea what you're talking about, man.
fuck. I don't know.
I just don't know why she was just kind of like, yeah, he's just doing some gymnastics. She just watches him.
I don't know. Maybe she was like, maybe when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're just kind of like, like, and weird things can happen, and I don't know, they fucked a lot. Maybe her brain just wasn't like working a lot. Like, it was like he had fucked like the common sense out of her head. I don't know. Like,
maybe
she's
she
like,
was alarmed that he's not hurting anybody. He's just doing gymnastics.
Like, great gymnastics too.
Yeah, like the whole chair thing. Like, I was just like, but it wasn't him. Like, it wasn't Jeff Goldblum because they never showed his face. So, because I'm always trying to figure out who's the.
That's the movie, Hot Rod.
Oh my God, I forgot about that movie.
With the gymnast, like it just turns into the gymnast. Like they were making fun of the fact that this shit used to just happen in 80s movies. So then they just did a gymnastics montage and then he falls off a mountain. And that was.
Dude, I love that movie. I mean, it helps that it's named after me.
Oh, yeah. I said whiskey because that was his safe word when he was going down the hill on the skateboard thing. And then
it's been years since I've seen it. But yeah, I love Andy Samberg.
Yeah.
That man is a comic genius. Yep. That's the weird thing where you're like, well, she doesn't really throw an objection until like he starts growing hairs out of his back.
His back wound.
Yeah. Oh, those are coarse. I don't like that. Ew.
She starts cutting them. I would be more like, you've got hair growing out of your wound.
Yeah.
It's more like you got a tarantula growing out of your wound. Like,
yeah, like that's like maybe we should go to the doctor kind of hair growth. I don't know.
Get in the pod.
What's the whole thing where like he's like, I got to take the monkey to get checked out, and then that like doesn't even last a whole night. He's just
I did struggle with where the monkey went after he started turning into Brundlefly. I'm like, what happened to the monkey? There's just this loose end.
Dude, that apartment.
They did have a steak in the next.
No.
Monkey steaks? Mm.
That whole apartment is just donuts and garbage. I know. I know flies like sweet things, but he really likes sweet things. Like he ate like donuts and candy bars and like everything. And it's like, I also do like the scene where like he's like about to eat and she recorded him and then they go away. So you could just imagine again him like vomiting on stuff. And when the creepy guy watched that video and you're just like, ah, yeah. That
was it
that
vomit?
fucking I don't know. I think so. I think that
maybe that's how he cleans it up. He just burns it all with his acid juice.
I don't know, man. I don't. Also, how was he getting all that food? Like, where was he going out and was he going into like the local convenience store?
He
like
put a cloak on.
Is he a wizard? The wizard.
He's a wizard.
I just imagine him going into the bodega down the street and then going into the corner and then he's like up on the roof. Hey,
they're like,
chocolate bars.
Just give him some chocolate bars. He'll leave then.
Yes. He will leave and never come back. It's like the Venom sequences in the new Venom movie with Tim Hardy where he's just like, that the only reason she lets him come through is because he keeps people from robbing her. It's like, oh, if they come in, they see that motherfucker, they're not gonna try to rob us. They would never, because the fly dude is here. Jeff, it is. I do really like this movie. It's sad though. I think of like things like King Kong. I think of like the ending is like that, right? It's like that where your main character was just a monster even when they didn't want to be a monster. I said American Werewolf in London kind of reminds me of where it's just like, it's a tragic story. It's a tragic story because it doesn't matter what they wanted to do. They were cursed the entire time. And you just like, because of things like in like The Invisible Man's like that with the one with Kevin Bacon specifically. I think of a lot like the ones is just like these tragic characters that like something happens to them and it corrupts them or fucks with them and it pushes them over the edge. And it's like, you feel bad even though they've done shitty things. And they really do shitty things in this movie, but like it's never because he wanted to do shitty things. It's because like his brain's been rewritten and like his DNA's been rewritten and whatever he is, like he's not human anymore. And so it's like his sense. He flied it. Mm-hmm. You could have done so like, I mean, obviously this was a remake of the 50s movie where this happened and he was a dude walking around with a fly head. And just, I don't know if you've ever seen pictures of the 50s movie. It's just literally a guy with a fly head. And it is the most, it's very much like what
Katie Google fly things again. She's going to be on that list. She is going to be on that list.
I'm already on a list. Okay, it is kind of funny though. That's a huge fly head.
Yeah, it's a huge fly head. It's just like a mascot head, but it's a fly. And it's kind of like it makes me think of, they did this a lot in the 80s because The Thing was a remake of The Thing from Another World where they like took a kind of like a 50s concept and they made it 80s and hardcored it up way more, right? But they did a lot, and this movie was Goldblum. Obviously, I've talked about Goldblum a lot this episode. Gina Davis killed it. It was just a focus of mainly those two characters. There's other actors, and you look at the IMDb page. There's only like 6 or 8 actors on here, and most of them come through from the fucking like. There are 3, 6. So there's like 12 actors on this thing, and a lot of them from the the dream sequence, and then like it's really just Goldblum, Gina Davis, and then
killing it.
Yeah, and then John Getz was Stathis,
killing it.
Borans. Yeah, so I really appreciate this movie though. Just practical effects, man. You just do something like this so well, and it's just like an iconic thing. I would tell you that it is. Scanners is worth watching, Katie. Scanners and Videodrome has some pretty iconic sequences with James Woods, but like I think the plot reminds me a lot of Scanners. And there's still like Cronenberg things I've never seen, like Raw, not Raw. What's it? Fuck, was that Rabid? I've never seen Rabid. Was one of those movies that gets talked about with him a lot, and I've never seen Crazy.
That's one I have seen, and
the original or the remake.
The remake.
Okay, so yeah, the original.
Okay, well, I was talking about the remake.
Yeah, well, then you didn't see the one I was talking about with Cronenberg.
Well, I wasn't even listening to you anyway, so.
I mean, who listens to Rod? It's a good point.
I'm kidding. I did say the right movie, just not the right movie.
Okay. I think everything I've wanted to say about this has kind of been brought up. Have you, either one of you guys want to say anything else about this before we wrap up?
It was the best movie we've watched together for this.
Yay! Yeah. We did it. We fucking did it. I'm so happy that we watched. Yeah, honestly, Katie, you're an amazing guest, and we needed to have a redemption round here for you because, wow, like the first movie we had with you on, I was like, holy shit, this is like really entertaining and really stupid and over the top, but it was fun. And then everyone after that, it was like, oh shit, now we have to talk about just a really weird, bad movie.
Yeah, I was trying to figure, I'm like, which of the movies I did? Because I was like, how many times have I been on? And then I couldn't remember Sky Sharks because I think Sharks of the Corn just blanked out my brain from everything else.
Yeah.
That one has stuck with me, and that's so disappointing.
I
because of all the
bar of the we've all seen the worst movie. Like accumulatively for all of us, like for a movie to be that bad, and like that is the bar for me, and I think it's for you guys as well. That's bad. Yeah. That is really bad.
To that point, the worst movie I'd ever seen was From Dusk Till Dawn 2, which was like just
Sharks of the Corn top that, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, see, like that's the thing. Like I feel special that I have like all three of us have watched Sharks of the Corn, and it's probably the worst movie all of us have ever seen.
I saw a TikTok recently, and it was this woman doing like the worst, like just really, really bad movies. And I commented underneath, and I was like, Sharks of the Corn. And she's like, now I'm intrigued. I'm like, it's on Tubi. You go find that and do that yourself because.
But to watch that and have commercial breaks, I don't know. Like you're waiting for more bad. I don't know.
Yeah. But I think that it's something. We have that bond. We've all seen Sharks of the Corn. No one else can have that.
High five.
Dude, that movie, as I said before, it does my biggest sin in cinema. It's boring. And it's real boring.
Yeah, there was some other issues with it. But it was a thing we watched.
Yeah. Dude, if you do an entertaining bad movie, I will enjoy the living shit out of it. The Room is fucking amazing for how bad it is. It's like a fucking adventure.
I need to watch that apparently.
And The Fanatic with John Travolta is one of the worst bad movies I've.
Most places will have like a Rocky Horror Picture Show like midnight event for The Room. So I honestly like if there is something going on in your city, I say wait until that and see it with that crowd because that is will make you understand it on a different level. Like it keeps growing and it becomes this thing that people throw spoons at the screen and stuff. And like, it's this thing, right? So, I don't know, like people, the crowd, it's not even about the movie anymore. It's about watching it through the eyes of someone who hasn't. So if you say, I haven't seen this movie before, the whole crowd will get so excited to like see your reaction to the movie as well. Because
the guy, the actor, he was just in Denver. Like he goes around and watches it with people, and then like takes pictures and shit afterwards, and sells merchandise. And
is it Tommy Wiseau?
Wiseau. Yeah.
But I saw it with Greg Nicotero came to Calgary.
That's cool.
And he was like signing it because he wrote the Disaster Artist book. And then that movie was adapted into the Disaster Artist, which was the biopic about it, right? So it was right before the Disaster Artist came out. And he came with a script for The Room that was actually worse than what was actually put out. And then they did the live reading with some actors and stuff. So to see it with him and a crowd, like I had already seen it, but like it, seriously, it's so terrible, but on like such a high love for filmmaking level that there's no way you could make something that bad with that genuine of a heart approach to filmmaking, that you see the love and behind it like of filmmaking, but he's just not. No,
it's like every time you should go left, he goes right.
Yes.
And it's just like, it's like a train wreck. You're like, I don't, but I love it.
It's like when you try to put the triangle into the circle and then he finds a way and it goes through anyway.
Yeah. And you're just like, I don't know what I just watched, but I love it. So
I will Google it and see if I can find a place. Cause they do that for Rocky Horror here. And I've seen like the whole people dress up and get into the Rocky Horror thing. So if they do that for The Room, that might be actually make it worth watching.
Yes.
I saw someone who worked at a theater going, I hate this fucking movie because of what Josh said, them throwing spoons and then them having to clean up the spoons.
Yeah, they'll bring plastic spoons and like it's like a whole like wave of plastic spoons and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It sounds like an event.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, Katie, thank you for coming back to talk about a movie that wasn't about sharks, and it was a blast, and I'm so glad we got to do it after.
Do sharks next time. Let's do it.
I refuse to put Katie through another shark movie until like one of us has seen it and like approves of this like in the message, because like
I have to say I do love me a shark movie. There is one shark movie that was surprisingly good, and I have to look up the name of it. They used real shark footage and they spliced it into the film, and it actually scared the crap out of me. Well, they all scare the crap out of me no matter how bad they are. It's an Australian shark movie.
Sharks and corn didn't scare the crap out of you, but everything else.
The thing is, like, I feel like me watching a scary movie, like a shark movie, must be entertaining. I can't keep my feet on the floor. I get so afraid when there's sharks on the screen. It's embarrassing. So, yeah, if you want to put me through another shark movie, I will do it because I think they're fun to talk about.
But I want to see a little bit of footage of that, though, because then we splice that in. That's way more entertaining.
I can't, like, even thinking about, like, I'm looking at shark pictures over here, and I'm like, I got to get my feet off the ground.
Josh, when you have like an hour sitting around, go to Katie's YouTube channel and watch her react to cats, because it is one of the most glorious. Like it's the same thing we were talking about before,
movie?
But like with the
really
sharks,
bad CG. Oh
yeah.
My God.
So she raised money for charity and hit a goal, and she recorded herself watching cats, and just like the disgust on her face for like 37 minutes or whatever that fucking review was it's so wonderful. And I still want to see the cut of that movie with cat buttholes, because I still have never seen it, but like, yeah.
Apparently that's the thing. That you can see my soul leave my body throughout that. It is not, like, I tried to be positive. It was a rough watch. It was a lot.
It was, you just see someone going, why did this happen?
But why?
You're like, it was like watching someone go, there can't be a God. A God does exist.
There is no God. I'm convinced now. It's a long
that guy
movie
in the I got a great idea, guys. Let's make cats into a movie, and we'll make them look like real cats.
What's that fucking word Angelical.
Jellicle.
Jellicle. That's what it was.
Cats.
Yeah, Jellicle cats.
And pollicle dogs.
It's
just such. It's like that movie makes me feel fatigued. Like you just feel tired thinking.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
I never watched it. Your review was all that I needed.
That's all you need.
Yep,
I cut it down and
Nightmare Fuel.
Kept the
Nightmare
good
Fuel.
parts.
I sometimes wonder, I want to put a body cam on Mark and just as he walks around your house and just the random things you're doing and now Katie's doing this and he's just
yeah, but it would have to have one on his face for his
yeah, but
those things from Fear Factor when it was the body cam suit.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't feel like I'm loud when I'm in here and talking, and I think I'm incredibly loud. Just talking about Roller Coaster Tycoon and
Roller Coaster.
Roller Coaster.
My wife gives me shit all the time about she's like, why are you reacting like that? And I'm like, well, because I'm doing shit. I don't know, because.
But on Roller Coaster Tycoon, you know what I'm talking about, right? That little girl that all of a sudden she's just like, roller coaster.
Does that happen in the game?
Yeah, you'd hear the carousel thing, and then that one person, and then roller coaster.
Yeah, I feel like today going through it and just the nostalgia of the screams on the roller coaster and the sound effects.
I just found the disc.
Home.
I was just cleaning my under the stairs, and I found Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 disc, and I was just because my whole basement is just a shrine of all the random shit, and you go into it's just everywhere. Now Roller Coaster Tycoon 2 is on a shelf, so I can look at it and go, roller coaster.
Well, you can get them on Steam. It had trouble getting this one going, but I was just it was the warm hug I needed today for video games.
I would say I have friends I've made in Zeke's community that were gonna help me when I've sometimes trying to get those old 90s games running is just a nightmare. I was trying to get one of the Leisure Suit Larry games to work, couldn't not get it to work on stream one day, and it's like you have to jump through some hoops. So.
Yeah.
Or roller coasters.
Gamble. Oh yeah. Or a roller coaster loop.
Well, Katie, thank you so much for coming back. We know you're always welcome back to this shit show because you're awesome people. And
thanks for having me for the fourth time.
Yep. You and Continue both got 4s now. So
no, Continue
both.
I think has more.
No, she hit 4 too. No, she just hit 4 too.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah.
She's going for the title.
Yep.
I guess I got to watch some shark movies.
I'm always down. I was like, wait a second. We're not going to watch a shark movie. I'm going to fucking hate it. We got to have a shark movie.
Well, I'm down if we want to watch another shark movie soon. Did you watch it already?
No, I
didn't. The shark movie?
No. I'm just saying today I was like, no, I'm going to hate it because it's not going to be a shark movie. But I didn't hate it. And I actually really liked the poster. I did too. So there we go.
So cool.
Yep.
I got KPP. To point in the right direction. So
tell all the
Rod just goes like
people.
this now.
I just go.
So it's always the right direction.
Damn it!
See, you got to do that, man, and then it's always the right direction.
It's backwards, man. So it's because I'm
the backwards man. The backwards man. I can walk backwards fast as you can.
KPP, can you tell people where they can find you, you lovely bean?
Yes, I am Katie Peters Plays on Twitch, Play Katie Play on Twitter. I have 2 podcasts of my own. Katie hasn't seen that, where I watch movies that everyone else has seen and I have not, and then I tell you what I think. I have Quantum Drive, which is an Orville-themed podcast where we talk about all the episodes of the Orville ever. I don't know what else to tell you about myself, but come hang out with me on Twitch. We play spooky games, and Halloween's coming up when this is coming out. So I'm gonna be playing a lot of horror games this next month. So I'm excited.
She's got her cool spoopy emotes that are awesome and that are lovely. And her stream is amazing and open and warm. And Katie's awesome, as you know from this. So yes. So hang out with Katie because she's dope.
And she's got the best pillows in the game. The Nick Cage pillows. I seriously, I can't not oh man, they're so They're the best.
I'll try to get out of its way so that you can focus on that.
Jeez, Kate, we don't want to see you. We just want to see the Nick Cage pillows.
Nick Cage pillows, or where it's at.
Katie, did you guys watch Willy's Wonderland in your Discord one night?
Yes, it was so fun.
It's like a B movie, but it just embraces the absurdity.
It lets him be him, and any movie that allows Nick Cage to Nick Cage out, like Face Off levels of Nick Cage, like with dancing and like it's just fun. It's a fun time.
I feel like growing up, Nick Cage was kind of like, oh, it's Nicolas Cage. I think I kind of love Nicolas Cage. Like now that I've watched a lot more of his, or Katie hasn't seen that, I've had to watch a ton of Nick Cage stuff. So I feel like he's like gone up the list as someone I enjoy as an actor now.
Did you see the latest one where he plays himself?
No, I need to. The weight of unbearable talent or whatever. It'll
just make you love him so much more.
I need to check that out. I need to watch that also.
It's so fun, and it is like it's so fun.
Yeah,
I love
that. One's on my list because I know that came out, and everybody's like, you need to watch the unbearable weight of incredible talent or whatever it's called. I know that's not the title, but
no, I think that actually is the title.
Is it? Okay.
I've enjoyed most. Title. Yeah. I've enjoyed most of his recent things. I really liked Colors Out of Space. A lot of people didn't like that movie. I really liked it. I really loved Mandy
because I've heard so many mixed reviews that I let it affect me.
I think you would enjoy it as a visual movie. There's a lot of cool things visually in that movie, and the color palette. Like I bought that. That was the first 4K movie I ever bought, and it looked awesome in 4K because like the bright pinks and the bright, weird colors and stuff like that.
You said my color. Anytime,
dude.
Well, it seems
I love pink.
Anytime we have a guest on, they're doing my colors too. I love it. I love the.
Wait, is pink your color?
I in the background, blue to pink. It's a nice like transition.
Is this just an accident?
I love it.
I also like it.
I love pink. Yeah.
I got my party light. It actually says
I love neon lights.
party.
Oh,
party
on Wayne.
I know this is the end of the podcast, but I do feel like there's a horror movie I saw that I liked called Nope, which I think everybody's probably heard of.
We talked about Nope. Yeah, we did an episode
Nope?
about it.
Okay, I just finally saw it and I really liked it. And
it's fun.
I know there's Old by M. Night Shyamalan, which I watched recently while I had COVID.
I heard the dialogue in that movie is horrible.
I think that movie, I didn't expect to like it. And I don't think I liked it that much, but I feel like it stuck with me because it's like the whole frailty of time thing really kind of made me think.
I feel like M. Night Shyamalan as like I have this harebrained idea, and he's like that guy, and he has the ability to make something look good and whatever, but it's only ever like, other than like 2 of his movies that I really, really like, everything else, it only ever gets to maybe the 3/4 mark of being like, this is it. And then he fucks it up but he fucks it up bad for like the other 1/4 that you're like, I can't love this movie and I kind of wanted to. Why couldn't you just go the extra quarter? That's how I felt about Old. I was like, no, I could defend this movie if I needed to. But then at the same time, I'm like, but I don't honestly think I want to either. It's a weird thing. I don't know.
My M Night Shyamalan catalog dies after Sixth Sense. Like Signs made me angry. The Village made me angry. Like The
Village made me angry. Signs didn't make me angry. It let me down.
Yeah.
Because I loved it up until you see the shitty alien and I'm like, fuck, man, what? Come on.
One of the scariest moments in a movie, though, since I was a kid when that came out, is when the alien goes by the birthday party. Yes. That will forever be one of the scariest things I've ever seen.
Hair. Hair.
So
oh my God.
I feel like M. Night Shyamalan kind of gets the shitty end of the stick a lot, but I think I have very high expectations for movies. I've noticed because when I do my other podcast, I tear movies apart, and I think I've gotten more analytical than I used to be.
The problem with you in that podcast is it's expectations, man. It's people building these films up to you that are like 20, 30 years old. And it's just like they can't ever live.
You're going in with those preconceived things that have been told to you why it's on your list now from your audience and blah, blah, blah. And you're going in with all those expectations that you wouldn't have if it was, especially if you saw it with virgin ears and eyes and whatever right when it came out without like it would have changed so much. It's got to live up to this hype now. Like there's no way.
You just did Starship Troopers, which is a movie that I had a blast with as a kid, but like it's not a great
theaters.
Yeah, it's not a great movie. By any stretch of
it was one of the first movies I was like a kid and there was boobs in the movie. I was like, oh my God, I love this movie.
Yeah.
I think that was a key point for a lot of people though. After like all the discussion in the comments, I'm like, I think the nudity was actually a big swaying factor of why it was nostalgic for people.
Yeah. It was, dude, when you're a horny teenager, like Denise Richards is just waving her boobs around a lot of that time period at all, because it was that in that like that movie with Kevin Bacon where they're
just like hi.
they're just like hi everybody, hi everybody. So it's that kind of stuff, man. It just because I didn't see Texas Chainsaw Massacre until my 3 or 4 years ago. Like that,
I didn't either. I didn't see it till like last year.
I liked it, but like it didn't, like it wasn't like this like
Texas.
It just didn't stand up to what like everybody made it out to be. You know, the same thing with The Exorcist. I didn't see The Exorcist until like my 20s, and I was like, I like this, but it's not the scariest movie ever made. Like it just like.
I have movies on my list that the shame list for being like a horror pocket, but like a lot of those movies were the ones that like I got into like horror really young, so like those ones were just it was so loud, and I saw them young because it was like, well, I'm into horror now. Like, what is it? And it's just like, you have to, and they're so aggressive when it's like, now that I'm a part of the world, it's like, to even like say I haven't seen Hellraiser on the last episode, I'm just like, there's loud people about that movie too, right? So I'll get there, but like, I totally understand.
We all have our blind spots, man. It's like everything. You just can't say you've seen everything. There's just too much shit out there. And it's like, it's funny now
but
like my favorite.
I have.
Now I like other movies in those franchises better. My favorite Texas Chainsaw is Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. My favorite Exorcist is Exorcist 3. Exorcist 3 is just fucking bonkers weirdo, and that movie's wonderful. And I like it better than the original. Isn't that the one with that like
crazy scene with the nurse?
The jump scare. Yeah,
oh my God,
the most infamous jump scare of all time.
To this day, it's so like, it's awesome.
It's a crazy movie, and it's wonderful though. But yeah, so we've gone off dude. That's why we love having you on, Katie. We could just sit there and we're like wrapping up, and they're like, go down this rabbit.
This is our longest episode. You hold the torch now for longest episode. So hey,
yes, we got to take the record somehow.
Oh man. But again, Katie, you gave all your stuff, but thank you again for being here and awesome. Josh, real quick before we wrap up, what are we doing next week? I don't know. I think we just might have to figure that out later on. Is it coming out on Friday?
Yes.
Okay, then we'll do a Smile next week.
Yep. I'm seeing it on Sunday with my tattoo artist. Maybe he'll want to come on the show or something. We'll have another guest.
Ooh.
Just let me know.
Sounds fun.
One of the reasons why I decided to do OnlyFans is so I can like afford tattoos, because the guy I want to go to is $1,500 a day. $1,500. Yeah, your arms are awesome, Josh. So okay. So next week's Smile. Go to murdermoose.com. Subscribe to us on YouTube so we get to 100 subscribers. We're getting there. We're in our 40s, but we need that so we can get Murder Moose on the name. And yeah, give us a 5-star review wherever you're listening. So
get rid of this fly.
I'm Rod_Johnston most places. If you want to find other things, you can come to my Discord or something and link in the links, because I got to keep away from being too directly linked to me. That was my job's lesson. Like, just don't point directly back to us, and we don't care if you do that, because I asked, and my HR was like, you could do it, you just don't directly point back. So yes, that's out there too. So Josh WRB on Twitter and Twitch and joshwrb.com, murdermoose.com, and I think that's all. So, Katie, we love you. Thank you again for coming back. Josh, I love you, you sexy motherfucker. And we will catch you guys next week for Smile. Bye!
Every episode.
Going out like a plane.